Today we're gonna take my
Crash Murcielago.
very crashed LP640 manually gated V12 Beauty.
Is it worse than you thought?
It's so bad. It's really bad.
It's actually hard to look at.
Dude, it breaks my heart. It's my favorite car. Wheel has major stance nation. This is a sad state of a car, isn't it, Mike?
It's not good, Mike.
I haven't seen this thing yet. I mean, I watched the video when you guys were pulling it off the trailer and stuff. It's worse than what you were describing.
Okay, it's not damaged. Do you know what this headlight costs?
$15,000.
Used.
We can definitely fix this.
One headlight is $15,000 used.
That is crazy. This is glass.
Yeah.
Most cars are plastic. This is glass.
Why would they
Well,
do
no
that
wonder
glass?
why it's $15,000.
So that broke
That's
off.
crazy.
And
We'll
then
put that in the kitchen for now, homie?
Yeah, sure.
Put it beside the tire slam.
Because I've been doing a lot of research off camera on parts for this car to locate certain things. I had the list from the first body shop. There's still some questions I'll answer later in the video about things they may have missed. I already committed off camera. I'm like, I'll do it. I'll do it. So yeah.
We were talking. You're like, yeah, what do you think about repairing this car? I'm like,
it
shouldn't be
simple and
like,
easy.
it shouldn't be a big
He
deal.
did. His
It
words.
shouldn't be a big deal.
Well, now I'm looking at the car.
Famous last words, hey?
I was thinking suspension, rip the suspension off. I'm like, all right, we can weld some tabs back on and get the suspension back lined up. But it looks like the whole front of the car needs to get cut off.
Yeah.
Go play a game?
Ow!
Hold on.
Oh, don't do that. That actually hurts.
Why would you do that, dude?
I thought it was funny for the internet, and then it wasn't.
We're gonna sit in first wins. Ready? Oh, I missed. You wanna try?
Here.
Hey! Don't break the glass.
By the way, they left this car sitting outside or something.
There were cats like living in it too.
There might be some. Check out that. 3 pedals and a gated shifter.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Isn't it?
We gotta fix this thing because I want to drive it.
This is honestly, like, all jokes aside, when we're not being YouTuber jerks, this really sucks. Like, it is the one thing that in the back of my mind, since this happened, I was just like, why this f***ing car? I was honestly thinking, why not Dave's car? He returns them anyhow.
Yeah!
Free tool.
Look it up.
That's all you need to fix this car. That's it. Figure that's a sweet spot in the back?
That's about as good as any. We'll find out.
Yeah. I'm nervous.
I mean, it's already crashed.
He just looked at me straight in the eyes and said, "It's already crashed."
Oh my god.
Stop.
Holy crap.
If you check it, it's not gonna fall off.
But here, hold on.
But, so, you know, I'm used to working on Porsche race cars.
It's not mid-engine.
All the weight's in the back. And when you put it on the rack and it's a race car and you've pulled in everything out of it and you've gutted it, even if it's just all the way forward, it still tips in the front. We put lead weight in the trunk when we put them up, and then sometimes we even strap them down to the lift.
Damn. Okay.
After the mic check.
Get it?
Mic check, mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, Mike, where do you want to start?
I'm just kind of starting in the middle, looking at the engine and transmission, because if those are damaged, we've got some,
Look at this, look at
some
this.
big issues, yeah.
The dirt
It went in the mud a little bit. You know, the center frame rails and stuff, at first glance, look fine. Something's going on here because they got some ratchet straps around the wheel, so I'm not sure.
Why is this wheel so like this and completely shoved up? Like, it's as if the suspension is not pushing this down at all.
Yeah, so lower control arm looks fine.
Well, that's good. One less part to buy.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, the upright is completely cracked. So you can see right here, the aluminum whole upright snapped. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We got an oil leak here.
Oh,
oil cooler.
Oh, it's actually leaking
sheared
like
that
right now.
Fitting right off of it.
Look at that. Oh.
Nice puddle in for it. Looks, somebody stepped in it already.
Damn.
I'm just looking at the damage through that puncture in the quarter panel, and it looks like it hit this. I'm guessing this is a charcoal canister, which is like the part of the evap system for the fuel tank. So basically the fuel vapors go in there. It looks like that's cracked. We're gonna have to figure out at what point this is bent. So it might be bent from here forward.
Right.
It might be bent here, but we're gonna have to measure all of that and see where it's twisted, where it's bent.
It's funny how janky it is from the factory. It'll look nice.
Yeah.
It's definitely a handmade car.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yep.
Tubular steel and all welded on.
Yeah,
Even the low control arm doesn't look anything very fancy for an expensive car.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, these are actually very nice. 2 control arms is what they would use on a race car. Handmade, very different than like a stamped sheet metal or a cast aluminum kind of, you know, piece that they would
Like
use
on
now.
an M3.
Like on an M3, yeah. Same.
That front end is like Lamborghini back in the day when they were building stuff. Janky. Wow. That's all OEM. Frame damage, definitely there. Front end's pretty twisted.
Yep.
I'm thinking, Mike, because race car, just tube chassis the whole thing?
I'm down with that.
That'd be a lot of work.
It's gonna be a lot of work to fix this.
How long would it actually take if I was like, screw it, let's just tube chassis it? and make it into some gnarly build.
It would probably take less time than if we had to build all this backup stock. If we didn't have another front clip and we had to replicate every one of these square tubes and how they came from the factory, that would take longer than if we just chopped the front end off and built like a round tube frame.
Really? How crazy do you guys want me to get? Do you want to see it back to OEM and still worth the big bucks? Or do we just turn it into something stupid?
They cut this right here.
I was looking at it. I think this punctured that. And look at this. They tried to put a plug. It's like completely punctured, ripped through.
And they stuck a rubber plug in it.
Did you see the back wheel too? Check this out, you guys. The back wheel
Actually held air.
The bead is like, it's still seated. It just cracked and ripped that piece of lip off.
Yeah. This is all broken. So all this carbon.
back in the day when this company made these aftermarket parts, this kit for this car was about $40,000.
That's back when really in early, mid 2000, before carbon fiber factories overseas
Really got it dialed in.
So this was really expensive stuff. It's this whole piece and the entire rear bumper and diffuser is carbon fiber. All right, guys, we're about to remove the very, very destroyed rear suspension wheel. The thing I want to know, Mike, is talk to me. If this wheel hits that caliper, it almost looks like it might be touching or cracked the rotor. Dave, what are we talking about for rotor cost here?
$18,000. However, that's not the worst part. The worst part is that they're back ordered. Minimum 2 years to get all the parts we need if we order them all from Lamborghini.
Well, that'll suck.
That's
I
insane.
guess we're gonna take this off right now and hope that I don't have an $18,000 bill hiding behind this wheel.
Exactly.
And the verdict is
I mean, it was definitely making contact. There's a dent right here, but that's not at the really thick part of the wheel, so hopefully it didn't ruin anything.
because the last time we had a chip out the corner, which if this got pushed in, are you able to turn it?
Yeah, I don't know. I think the axle is probably destroyed.
Yeah.
Well, let's look at the backside. Because it has to be both sides of this rotor that make it good.
there's a nick here, but I'm not sure how bad that is right there.
Oh, there is a nick there.
We have to have that looked at.
Yeah, I don't know.
So the problem with carbon ceramic brakes is the fact that if they do get any sort of stress fractures or anything, you have to replace them. The reason is under extreme heat and load, they can actually just blow up. It's not like a steel rotor at all.
Yeah, they will
So
shatter.
they will shatter.
Another one?
Another chip.
Oh yeah, look at this one.
That's your replacement.
$18,000 rotor. Oh, that sucks.
You know what sucks though? On the quote that went to the insurance company that got paid out on, that wasn't on it.
Yeah, and we still don't know if this is bent. We'd have to put this in like a brake lathe or something and spin it and check to make sure that this isn't
It's not wobbling.
out of round. Yeah.
Well, it's not really off to a good start, is it, you guys? 18 grand just from two little nicks like that on either side. Rotor trashed.
Then you can actually see what I punctured the carbon fiber order. You can actually see the carbon fibers.
This is trashed. This was all dragged on the ground.
Yeah, this is completely broken off, and it's basically just hanging out by the upper oil line. The bottom one is sheared off, so this used to be welded onto the backside of this. Another thing that we're gonna have to check is how long was the engine running for after this got disconnected? This is the engine's
I brought that up.
oil supply, right? So if oil's pumping through and just pumping out of the engine, there's no pressure going into the bearings of the engine. So we're gonna have to drain the oil, check the filters, and see, hopefully there's no metal debris in there.
Very expensive engine.
50,000 bucks.
Well, I think it's time we dig a little deeper.
We go a little further into what's going on in this back corner that we're really investigating.
Yeah, let me pull these calipers off here. So this is the e-brake caliper. It just is only for the e-brake, so that's a cable there. And then that's the foot brake one. Pull both these off. We'll pull the rotor off, and then we'll be able to see the damage on the upright, and we'll be able to check the axle out and see if the axle is wrecked.
Well, if there's any light at the end of this tunnel, it is. That's gonna make one hell of a wall clock if it's totally done.
That's a big caliper.
A huge caliper for the rear. It's like the size of most cars' front brakes.
It's huge.
It's left and the pads left.
Yep, this should look fine.
I got brand new pads. This whole car was serviced. I was supposed to pick it up. Like it was good to go.
You actually get new pads?
Pads. I had a full oil change. I had all the brake fluid flushed from when I was at the track. I had all this, the whole car was serviced and good to go. And then, boom. $18,000.
Better not drop it. Yeah, I don't know. That chip is.
We have a chip.
We gotta get that looked at because
there.
yeah, there's one on the back side.
Yeah, one on the
And then there's
front.
one on the front side.
The one on the front was bigger.
It is a bit bigger.
And that's
there.
from the accident.
Yeah,
we think.
probably
For
Yeah.
sure.
Holy sh! Literally powdered.
I just sheared it right. Like snapped it.
I've never seen that.
Whoa.
Hard hit.
That is crazy. So this was all one piece before. That's nuts.
So not only did this just completely shear off, snap that aluminum casting, but this upper control arm is also super twisted because of that. These used to be lined up straight. Now this one's up here and this one's straight. the whole thing is twisted forward. So even if I try to push it back and get it lined up where the lower control arm is, I mean, it's off by 50 millimeters.
Yeah.
It's like huge. Yeah.
Crazy. Hard hit.
Yeah, definitely.
So we're looking at potentially more damage behind all this. Like, what if this actually pushed like the axle into the transmission?
That's something we're definitely gonna have to look at, because that's very possible. Honestly, the whole chassis could be twisted. Because when it takes a hit that hard and all these little square tube frames, it could just twist the whole thing and you wouldn't even notice it unless you put it on a frame machine. You start measuring those points, you go, oh, we're off 5 millimeters here, we're off 10 millimeters here. So we can inspect all this damage right now and get most of the stuff out of the way and know what we need to purchase. But until it goes onto a frame machine, it's really like, it's just up in the air. We don't know what's going on.
Where did all that come from?
That was all like buried in this thing.
All the dirt. Should be able to get this whole corner off.
I think we just got this one wheel speed sensor here. Pull that guy out, pop the pins out, and then we can pull this corner off.
Cool. And almost there. Hey!
Shims.
More shims.
Why are all supercars from like the 80s and 90s, even into the late 2000s, why are they all built with shims?
So because of the way that this is built, because it's a tube that somebody's basically putting in a fixture and welding, and these are bearings, they're not rubber. So there is no slop. They make this machine, right? So this is easy to get the tolerances right. And then those shims, sometimes they'll use them for alignment, be able to move this back or forward inside of there. And sometimes they just make them so it fits, because this might be a little too tight or a little too big. So they just throw some washers in there and take up the...
Oh, Dave, from now on, I pay you in shims.
You don't pay me anything.
This photo's brand new.
Not anymore.
Yeah, shims. Well, you can really see now that we're looking straight on that is extremely bent and twisted. All of this.
Yeah, I mean, you just compare it to this and see how much it's twisted, because these were both parallel before.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's wild.
A lot of force. Okay, we're gonna leave the back end now. We're gonna move to the
Front end, because we're really curious how much damage can we find behind a lot of this stuff.
We're gonna start with taking the wheels off on both sides.
And fingers crossed we don't find another $18,000 caliper, but you never know. The bill in this video, any guesses what the total is by the time we're done? Hidden damage costs, because we already know what they could find, or finding stuff that was now not found. Hidden damage is always a serious problem when you're buying a wrecked car, or you have a wrecked car that you've gotten back from the insurance company, because if someone missed something and you got paid out to fix the damage and that wasn't on the bill, well, guess what? It's coming out of your own pockets or your business partner's paycheck.
Oh, look at this. It's fluid from anything. That's like oil.
Oh yeah, sitting there.
Car that's on the side. What the f that from?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, it's sticky. Shock blow, maybe?
I don't know. I have to look at it. I mean,
Oh, that would suck.
yeah, that
Did
was,
Eric get too close to this?
that's also possible.
I'd say that's probably not gonna work anymore. Was it held on the tape?
Well, that's part of the headlight.
Oh, that's a headlight missing. We actually have a headlight missing. I'm not sure where it ended up. Maybe it was smashed to pieces, which makes no sense. The ducts are all missing from the brake coolers, obviously. Is that a factory Lamborghini zap strap or zip tie, as the Americans call it?
Probably.
There's no way.
Yeah, look, it's got a bracket. It's a plastic bracket that's riveted in. That's a fiberglass heat shield you use like on an AN line.
Seems unnecessary for that. As well, the heat up front?
Well, it is close to the brakes, so obviously there's a lot of heat coming off the brakes, but this tube usually doesn't get that hot, but I don't know. Maybe they had one fail and they just decided to put it on.
I also noticed that the brake cooler duct is actually carbon fiber, like the race car. Pretty cool little detail there.
That's pretty cool, and I just realized that these are titanium.
Titanium. Like factory?
I don't know. Probably not.
Probably not. And then you can see where the car was sitting in the accident. There's obviously dirt and where, like, look in here. Someone will get that.
Someone's gonna clean that up.
Someone's gonna get that. So obviously we talked a lot about the front end. We know obviously that there's severe damage in the front frame. From Lamborghini, you can buy the whole front frame, $27,000. But again, that they make it for you and that could be years away. So we wanna figure out if we can replace this with a used one from like a wrecker or repair this one by cutting off certain areas. I mean, Mike, will you do it? I'll get your horny. Let me see.
There's a lot of stuff that's bent. So we can see that the front from here forward is bent more.
Yeah.
But it's really hard to tell if this is bent or how much this area is bent. We're gonna have to pull more parts off to try to figure it out. But
Is this lower control arm bent or is that just the shape of it?
yeah, I don't know. It's really hard to tell because it doesn't have
weird,
that big
right?
like swoopy line.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to tell. I mean, that's something else that we're gonna have to like take both arms off and compare both of them side by side and see if they're any different. So we're trying to look at how to take this fender off of here so we could see if we could fix it, but it's actually bonded all the way back here into this, and then this is bonded to this.
So you can't unbolt this.
It's almost like it's part of the
Well, hold on.
chassis. It goes all the way up.
No.
Yeah, it's like it's all welded together.
Why would they do that?
I have no idea.
That's really silly. So the front fender right here basically fused the entire body of the car. It's basically one piece. It's not bolted off.
Okay, I see where it's bonded down here.
Talk to me, Goose.
Main part of the fender, that part, is carbon. And then it goes back here and it gets glued, bonded onto the chassis. So this is aluminum, and that's a glue line down here that bonds the carbon piece onto it. That's really weird.
Why the frick would they do that?
I don't know how we're gonna pull that apart because that's some serious epoxy there, but we need to separate it to be able to fix the damage that's in there and then bond it back on. But getting that apart is gonna be a pain without destroying.
Can this be fixed on the car by somebody that's a specialist in carbon fiber repair? Because here it's damaged.
Yes, but this is all damaged. So we gotta take this off to be able to make all of the repairs underneath it. There's gotta be a way to pull it off. I don't know if there is a way to do it without destroying it, if it's just sitting there with a little
job
saw.
for a body shop.
That's definitely a body shop kind of
We're not doing that here. I had no idea that did not bolt on or off. That's silly.
And check this out. So this whole thing, all of that, where it's basically blended here somewhere.
Yeah.
And then this is all bonded together. And then in here, check out those welds that they...
Oh my God, that's factory welds right there. Oh my God. Wow.
That's a hard spot to reach. So somebody was probably just, you know.
So it gets more complicated. Much more complicated. So complicated that Damon's brain's about to explode.
Why? So it's a carbon fiber fender, but it's bonded, epoxy glued on to this aluminum piece here. This is carbon, and then this is aluminum, so it's glued on. So there's no bolts, we can't take it off. We have to figure out a way how to cut through that epoxy to be able to separate. And we need to get that off because we have to fix all this stuff underneath it. I mean, this part is fixable, this is fixable, but we need to take that apart.
How dumb is that?
But we knew that. Like when people say the Murcielago is all carbon fiber body, they just don't tell you that it's not bolted onto the car. It's like epoxied onto the car somehow, which is crazy.
That's a very inefficient way of building a car.
It's very easy to put it together.
Dave builds a lot of cars, so he knows.
So I mean, they put some glue on it, they line it up, and it's good to go.
What's behind door number two?
We got to take the full custom Sony stereo system that was installed in this car, now out unfortunately. And we'll take the rest of the bucket out. And we'll start looking at like what's behind all of this. That's what we're really trying to get to.
You got it, go. Ooh, wow.
They did that really clean. So that is not a factory part. They rebuilt this off of factory mounting places so that they can mount all of the amps and everything on the front of that. So they didn't have to drill anything into the car.
Hey, he got it.
It's out.
It's funny, we told him to cut it.
And he wouldn't cut it.
He sat here and got all of those disconnected nicely.
When I see somebody take a car apart, snips and just start cutting the wires, you're like, no, that wire just goes right through that hole. Like it's spending 30 seconds.
We would have cut it.
Check this out, check this out.
Yeah.
This latch mechanism right here.
Yes.
Guess how much that is from Lamborghini? $1,700.
What? This.
And that's definitely from a different car. It wasn't just made for a Lamborghini. They bought that from Volkswagen or whoever.
Look at the angle of that side versus this side, because this is supposed to be straight like this. If you look straight down, this is on a crazy angle this way, and then this one comes straight out. Even this will be a little bent, but that is crazy.
That's really, really bad. I mean, this used to be straight up and down. So this used to be over here. This whole thing would have been way over there.
So when you look straight on at it, how just mangled everything is being pushed that direction.
There's a carbon match to the drapes.
Well, there we go. We're down to the frame.
I mean, they're still there, but it's
It's not that bad.
That's not bad.
This is all one piece, isn't it?
Yeah, you can see it's all twisted. So those pieces themselves, that section is not bent, but it's twisted up.
If you're being picky about it, maybe.
This part you were just telling us is like tubular framing. This isn't that hard to make even for you, right?
So all of this stuff we can recreate. So this is just square tubing. So if we get, a front clip or something that doesn't have that, it's not a big deal. The hard part is all of this that's formed. So this part here is part of the carbon fender. Then over here, it's back onto the aluminum. Up here, you can see actually where it's split here. So it's aluminum and aluminum. And then in the middle, they glue the fender into place.
So all of this is carbon, what you're saying,
Yeah.
a little bit of black and the yellow.
And you can see
which
here
is
where
connected
it's
to
actually
this.
split and coming apart.
Oh, yeah.
So this is the carbon
Yeah.
bit, and then that's aluminum or steel maybe down here.
Yeah, I'm bonding it.
Yeah, so there's the glue right there, and we're separating it because I really want to get this piece off of here so that we can try to repair this fender.
Do you think you could actually get this to be repaired back onto here? You can see where it's broken right there, the carbon sticking out.
I think that's repairable. I think any composites guy can fix that.
Salvage it?
Salvage that. All right.
Wow.
That's how far off.
Wow.
Oh, that should be going like this.
Yep,
And it's
this
over there.
whole thing should be all the way over there.
And that's why it snapped, obviously.
Yeah. This was already split from the accident, but that back section is gonna be super bonded, and that part of the panel is a lot thinner too. You know, it's got 3 sides to it, so it's a lot stiffer.
So this grill has to come out. What, that was it?
Huh.
Not much holding that on.
And the deck has been removed.
See how some wires under there?
You got gold tape in here, did you know that?
Yeah.
Is that cool? Did you put that in?
No, heat shielding. This literally sits right above the exhaust system. And it shoots like 4-foot flames, this thing.
Just like your Mercy did. Mine was 6 foot.
This thing was like, what?
6 foot flames.
There you go.
Thank you, Mark. What do we want?
Don't look, don't look. This is more hidden damage. That was not disclosed on the quote.
Are you kidding me?
No. Oh. This is not for YouTube. This is real. Come over here.
Yo, let's see.
No, I want to show you.
Move your hand. I want to see.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Tail light's cracked.
Oh, damn.
That's like $108,000 store bill.
No, it is. It is all
Mounting tab
correct.
thing is cracked.
They missed that.
Added to the quote
We didn't get paid for
of
that.
not quoted damage. So we learned today that we're gonna need an entire new front end.
Yeah.
We're hoping we can unbond the carbon fiber front fenders from the body and from the side of it. What are the odds of being able to unbond them without wrecking them?
It's gonna take a lot of time, and it still might crack and just like split open. It's probably 1 or 2 millimeters thick, and it's got this epoxy that's 3 millimeters thick that's just like bonded into that thing. So it's gonna be tough.
A chipped on 2 sides ceramic rotor we didn't know about. It's $18,000. We definitely need all new wheels, all sorts of other little bits of damage under here. We've got a pretty solid list. You're saying the control arm and everything on that's toast.
Yep. Control arm, upright, axle, most likely. We still have to look at the transmission, right?
Yeah, the transmission is a big question mark.
We still have to look at the engine, because with that oil line being popped off, if it ran for 30 seconds,
Pumping oil out.
all the oil out of it and no oil going into the engine,
Yeah.
engine's probably toast. So
That would really suck.
that would suck.
So right now we're at a place where
We've dug into this. We know we've got a bunch of hidden damage. There's likely going to be more. Stay on this journey with us. This is really our first real rebuild of any type on this channel. You know, bear with us. It's all new to Dave and I. It's not Mike's first rodeo, but it's definitely Mike's first rodeo on a Lamborghini, let alone a rare Lamborghini Murcielago LP640. So we'll see you guys in the next video, where we're going to actually start to tear more of this apart, and we'll even see if we can't start to unscrew or unbond some of the fender parts without breaking them, because that would be very, very, very expensive. And we'll give you an update on what parts we have found, because Dave's already on the hunt.
I'm on the hunt.
keep looking. We'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
And now start. 1. Start. 1. That was 1. 1. 1. 1.